is a story which starts with my mum. Now, my mum had the temerity to go and leave me an orphan in 2002. How could she do that to me when she'd had such an effect on my life? Imagine, it's 1966, I'm 20, at least 3 dress sizes smaller than I am now. Skinny even. I've got dark brown hair. It's cut in the trendy Vidal Sassoon bob with the fringe. At that time I was wearing glasses, so dark rimmed glasses. And I'm wearing my uniform, my BOAC uniform. It's green, beautiful pencil skirt, jacket, white shirt, and of course the obligatory black pointed stiletto heels. I am it. Now, the way that I got to BOAC sort of started when I was about 11. And I remember going for my 11 plus interview, and they said, "And what books do you read?" And I said, "Oh, well, my favourite is Biggles by Captain W.E. Johns. And I even wrote to Captain W.E. Johns to start a fan club." Right, that got me into grammar school. But at the end of grammar school, my A-levels weren't good enough to get into university. And during the intervening period, we had moved as a family to New Addington. Sadly, because of the tram crash, which I used to take. New Addington is near Biggin Hill. And I was mad about aeroplanes. I had the Observer's Book of Aircraft, and the aircraft going into Heathrow, I thought, oh yeah, that's a 707, that's a VC-10, that's a whatever. And when the Biggin Hill Air Show was on, well, that was just bliss, wasn't it? A Vulcan bomber going across. Oh, it was magic. So, not going to university, my mum was obviously a bit worried, saw this advert and said, "Caroline, why don't you apply to BOAC? At least you'll be in an airline with aeroplanes." Great. I applied, got in, 15 girls, 35 boys on the first course. Great odds for the girls. I had a ball. I think I went through most of them. I mean, just going out with them, you understand, at that stage. And of course, you were able to take interline trips, so other airlines would want to show you how good they were. And our first trip, I think there were about 15 of us, took TWA to New York for the weekend. So I remember the Saturday morning very clearly, going to lunch in a restaurant, great big round table, all of us sitting round. There were no menus on the table. And the waiter came up and he said, "We've got ham, we've got fish, the fish is nice." And everyone went, and lots of them ordered the ham. They were wrong, the fish was nice. So lots of trips in Europe, the States, Barbados for holidays. Fantastic. And then I thought, my mum and dad don't go away very much. I wonder if they'd like to go to Barbados. So I went home and I said, "Would you like to come to Barbados with me? You know, we could do it really cheaply because it's only 10% of the normal fare." And my dad looked at me and he said, "I'm not going anywhere." He'd been on Gibraltar in the war and he just refused to go outside the UK after that. And my mum said, "Well, I'd really love to go." So I said, "Well, you know, I'm happy to take you." So I went away and came back, and I think there'd been quite a bit of negotiation. I'm going and you're not going to stop me. And my mum and I went on a trip to Barbados. So I don't think she actually had a passport when I asked her about this. So she had to get a passport, never been abroad before, never been on an aeroplane. So we're on the plane, I make sure she's got the window seat so that she can look out of the window. And the engines start and the plane starts taking off. And my mum's sitting in the seat looking out of the window and the plane goes up through the clouds. And my mum in a very loud voice says, "Caroline, Caroline, look at the clouds! They're so fluffy, they're like cotton wool. Look at the blue sky, look at the sun." And I'm sitting there going, "Really, with her? I've done all this before, you know. I'm a cool chick. This is old hat." But my mum was entranced. And at that time, the flight stopped in Bermuda, and you had to get out, and it was only an airstrip near the sea, so you'd get out, lovely and warm, seas lapping away. So my mum does the same thing again. She gets out, really loud voice, "Caroline, it's so wonderful, it's so warm. Oh, I love this. Oh, look at the sea. Oh, look at those birds over there. Oh, this is..." And I'm again, "Yes, yes, yes, Mum, it's lovely. Yes, yes, it's lovely. Cool, I've done this before." We had a great holiday. She saved me from sunstroke. And she really absolutely loved it. So if we fast forward 20 years, 1986, I'm living in Hong Kong because my ex-husband was headhunted for a job to run Jardine Engineering in 1982, and we have the life. The house with the swimming pool, the chauffeur, the maid, the nanny, the dinners out, the junk trips, a boat, a lot. Fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And I had the freedom to do anything I wanted, and I did lots of different things. Really interesting life. There were some downsides, like we had a boat and we went out on a rainy day, and I went down below, and my 2-year-old daughter at the time wanted to come down below, and as I went up the steps, scooped her up, unbeknownst to me, they put the sails up, the wind caught the sails, and I was flung round down into the galley onto my ribs, broke 3 ribs, and subsequently had a collapsed lung. 5 weeks in the Matilda Hospital. You know, if you've got to be somewhere in hospital, to be looking out towards Kowloon from the peak in Hong Kong, couldn't really be a better place to be. Not a good experience. Life was wonderful. Then the axe fell. My husband was made redundant. And he said, "Well, I'm 50, no point in going back to the UK." He's a very entrepreneurial guy. He said, "I've got an idea for a project. I'm going to take one that Jardines didn't want to run with, try and make it work." And that's what he did for the next 2 years. Sadly, right at the last moment, it didn't work. And he'd gone through 2 million Hong Kong dollars. All our money. It was 1990. For the next 8 years, I think we moved at least every 12 months, if not 18 months. We were technically bankrupt at least twice. The bailiffs came in to take our furniture from one flat, and we had to ask a friend to go and buy it back at the auction. And it wasn't until, and then we lived with a friend for 8 months because we couldn't afford a flat, until I was headhunted for a job, and I was able to get a flat and support the girls who needed to finish school. It was a really difficult time. But you know, I was doing a talk at one stage, and that image of my mum in the aeroplane came back to me. That childlike enthusiasm for what was in the moment. That complete enjoyment of life. And she didn't have any money. I mean, you know, my parents were working class, they'd never had much money. It wasn't about that. she had that insatiable quality of enjoying every single moment. And it was thinking about her, when it got really bad, I would think about her and that childlike enthusiasm and think, that's what's going to get me through. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're in a depression, if things aren't going right in your life, if nothing is really lifting you, think about my mum on the aeroplane going, Caroline, Caroline, look at the clouds! And remember, there's always something you can focus on which is going to help you to appreciate what you have in life at this moment. Enjoy.